Hi everyone, Jasmine Paul here. I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you, and I just pray that whatever your decision is, it's God's will, and that I'm praying for you and your conference. So I want to start off by reading Deuteronomy 31:6, and I think it's such a awesome scripture because it's something that I've been holding on to for the last couple of weeks. But it's the Lord your God will personally go ahead of you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. Um, and I think it's so important that we as believers remember that God will personally go ahead of you. That personally part is that there is a relationship and a communication that God is willing to do the hard work. He's willing to go in front of you and make sure that there is a clear path. I'm not saying that clear path doesn't have trials and tribulations, but there is a clear path that you are able to accomplish the things that God has called you to do, whether it's to create, whether it's to work, to serve. He has called you to do specific things, and He will personally go ahead of you. And so when I think of this scripture, I'm reminded of a time when I lived in the Northwest. My little sister came to visit me over the summer, and we went on a camping trip with my young adults group. And so on the last day of the camping trip, we are going floating. So now floating is basically you have a raft and some floatable tubes, and you're on the river floating down the river. So we are going on the Missouri River, and it's the longest river in America. Um, Far away, the river looks super calm. It looks beautiful. It's just this beautiful winding river that's going through the mountains, cutting through the mountains. It's beautiful. But up close, the river is rushing. It is constant. It's winding and turning. There's different parts of the river that are whirlpools where you have to be very careful because you can get sucked under, and there have been people who have drowned from those whirlpools. There's also areas where the river is dried up, and it goes into a little riverbank. There are rapids in this river, and then there's other parts of the river where you just have to be careful because you can get caught up in twigs and roots and different parts of trees. So just a very interesting river. So we are on the Missouri River navigating on this float trip. And I was really grateful because I had my friends who were kind of our tour guides. They had been on this river for such a long time. They knew the ins and outs. They knew where all these whirlpools were. They knew where all these dangerous places were. And it was really awesome to be with them because we were able to share in this experience of floating down the Missouri River for about 4 hours. And when I think of this float trip, I think of my relationship with God. I think of how He has personally gone ahead of me down this river called life. That there were parts in my life where there were whirlpools. There were parts of my life where there was dry areas, dry seasons. There were parts of my life where there were rapids and it was super dangerous and I probably could have been dead. But God personally went ahead of me and He said, you know what? I'm navigating you through these rivers. I'm making sure that I'm making a way for you. I'm not going to let you drown. I'm not going to let you, I'm not going to let you go under this current. I'm going to make sure that I go ahead of you, and I will never leave you nor abandon you. I love you. You are my child. And I believe that with this message of this river of life, that it is constant. It is always moving. And are we going to sit back and allow the river kind of just to overtake us? Or are we going to go with the river? Are we going to go with the challenges that God puts in front of us? Are we willing to do the work that God has called us to do? Are we willing to be all that we can be, to be the best Christian that we can be, so that we can hear a well done, my good and faithful servant? That is the message that I pray resonates in the hearts of the people. I pray that it resonates in my heart. I just want to thank you so much for this time. I pray that God will continue to bless, that He will continue to personally go ahead of you all. I love you. God bless. Bye.